Hello and welcome to Jasper Monk Reviews. This week I'm doing things slightly different with a double bill review of two films out in the UK this week. Hereafter, directed by Clint Eastwood, and Biutiful, the latest offering from director Iñárritu. Hereafter is a film with three storylines about the subject of the afterlife, which eventually converge for a rather contrived final act. However, the main strand of the film, and by far the strongest, features a wonderfully understated performance from Matt Damon as an ex-psychic who is trying to lead a normal life. Yes, he does see dead people, but there is nothing crass or sensational about the way this is handled. While the film carefully avoids any religious overtones, it does lean heavily on accepting a reality about life after death that is too scientifically clear-cut, without even raising an eyebrow. Apart from an impressive opening sequence and Damon's performance, there's not much more of interest in this rather overlong movie. The French TV reporter who eventually decides to pursue her passion of writing a book about near-death experiences was the least interesting story of all of them, and one I couldn't care enough about. And while the story of the two young twins growing up in London with an ex-junkie single mother seemed more promising, it ended up being rendered completely flat by two of the most utterly lifeless performances by child actors you will ever see on the movie screen. Now, it's commendable that Eastwood likes to give young amateurs a bit of acting work. You know, one could put up with some of the wooden performances delivered by the Mung actors in Gran Torino, but here Eastwood has really shown bad judgment by letting these kind of performances slip through the net. When one of the young boys delivers the line, "We'll be like a proper family again," it was just too much for me to put up with. In summary, this was a substandard offering from Eastwood, and though there were moments of greatness from Matt Damon, too much ponderous plodding gives Hereafter just 2 out of 5 stars. This brings me on to our next film, Biutiful, which by some coincidence also contains a similar theme of a man being able to connect with the dead. However, unlike Hereafter, you might not get much of a chance to even see this in UK theatres, which is a shame considering this film is by far the better of the two. In Biutiful, Javier Bardem plays a small-time crook with a conscience, living in a grimier and grimmer part of Barcelona than we last saw him in. Remember Vicky Cristina Barcelona? Well, Iñárritu's version of the city couldn't be further from Woody Allen's sun-soaked tourist honeypot. This part of town is more of a Venus flytrap, with smoke-spewing factory chimneys and cold, smelly, insect-infested dwellings. Biutiful is a tough film to watch and difficult to sum up because there are so many things going on. Bardem's character is supplying goods to illegal street sellers, bribing the police to turn a blind eye, trying to look after his kids and stop his mentally ill estranged wife from causing too many domestic problems. He also works with his devious brother to supply illegal Chinese immigrant workers to a local construction company, while at the same time doing his best to give these Chinese workers some home comforts with unforeseen consequences. He tries to make a bit of money on the side with his gift as a psychic. Yes, he sees dead people too, and has to deal with his personal emotional issues surrounding the removal of his father's dead body from a crypt to make way for building work. Throughout all of this, Bardem's character is struggling with a terminal illness which is physically pulling him apart at a time when he really needs to be holding it together for the sake of his two kids. Incidentally, these two kids are actually very fine actors. Pay attention, Clint Eastwood. Now, with all these things going on, it's surprising that Biutiful doesn't come across as a sprawling, depressing mess, but it's all held together superbly by Javier Bardem's strong central performance. His Oscar nomination is well and truly deserved. In summary, Biutiful is an emotional film, and at 2.5 hours long, you might find this descent into a relentless darkness a bit hard to handle. There are moments when the bleakness does seem to drag on a little too long, and the lack of any kind of reprieve may be too much for more sensitive viewers. In my case, I left the cinema emotionally drained, depressed, and wiping tears from my eyes, which is just the kind of experience I'm happy to pay good money for. So Despite its flaws, I'm confidently giving Biutiful 4 out of 5 stars.